You're still with us here at Content Marketing Insider, powered by Repurpose.io, and you're still with Jordan Higgs. And we've been talking about reaching your goals with automation, AI, and actual legwork. Let's do a little recap, shall we? Point number one, the benefits and downsides of automation. Point number two, how to use AI effectively. So we've talked about automation, we've talked about AI or artificial intelligence. But it's not all that. We always need to go back to the basics. So, point number three is different ways to manually reach your goals. Manually. Okay. So, first 2 points is about automation, doing things quickly and all of that, hands free. This time, we're going to get our hands dirty because there is still a lot of space for manual labor. So tell us more about that, Jordan.
Yeah, nobody's a bigger believer in work smart and not hard than me because I think at my core, I'm just like, can this be done faster? Please don't make this awful for me. But you come to realize pretty quickly that you do have to do things manually sometimes. We talked a little bit earlier about, hey, like what happens when software that you become very reliant on shuts down? Do you know how to use the tools in the right way? One of the things that I'm thinking about that you do have to do things manually is that it's not going to be far off before people realize that anything automation wise or AI wise, a lot of AI is going to be hidden watermark on it, right? So you're going to realize very quickly that like, hey, like this article that I drafted up in 10 seconds, there's going to be some little algorithm within that article that's not going to show up in Google search results, or this picture that I've done that goes on my blog post. It gets flagged by Google now, so it's not going to show up with SEO. Or whether it's a social media platform where it's like, hey, like maybe this tool doesn't have an avenue to post to this platform, and it's just a totally different format, and I have to do it manually. So you do have to put in the legwork, and that's where the biggest gap is going to come between people who just rely on automation and then people who learn or and will become good at their job as a marketer or a content creator. So it's one of those things that you can get from amateur to maybe the medium level, but if you're going to really succeed, whether you have a person you've hired or you learn to do it yourself, you're not going to make it to the upper echelons of being a content creator or a marketer without knowing how or be willing to do the legwork.
I think that's one of the dangers about automation and AI. I mean, I love it, but sometimes we can get lazy and lax, and it can even suppress a lot of creativity and even grit. And we don't want to get to that point. Kind of reminds me of the movie Wally. If you remember, everybody was
Yeah.
sitting down on these floating chairs and they've just really doubled, tripled in size, and they're just eating stuff and they're not doing any more movement. Even the most mundane movement like pressing a button, it's such a chore for them. So,
Okay.
and I know it's kind of like funny if you look at it, but could it also be a picture of our society in the next, I don't know, 10 years, 20 years? We may not necessarily look that cute, but the way the way it looks, I think if we don't do manual stuff, we'll actually get to, right? So you mentioned something about different ways to manually reach your goal. So what are these different ways that we're talking about?
Yeah. So let's just say you're a marketing manager and you have different KPIs, and let's just say engagement is one of the biggest ones. There's only one way. And for me, it's never been worth the risk to automate or farm out comments, right? So to have something that automatically responds back to people 24/7, or something that goes through and likes people's photos just to say like, "Hey, I engaged with you. Will you engage back?" People have heard all through their life the unfollow tactic, where you just follow a bunch of people, follow 100 people, 7 of them follow back, you unfollow the rest. Well, the algorithm gods of the social media companies that I'll keep referencing, they hate that. You are the worst for doing that. So eventually you realize like, hey, I do have to play by their rules. So let's take engagement, for example. You do have to sit down and comment to people, and that's for it to actually work. It's more than just surface level engagement. It's more than just thank you smiley faces. One of the best things is to leave comments that are open ended or that start a discussion. There was a really great interview that I heard where guys, this is a little bit shady black hat marketing, but they had two different accounts, and start an argument with each other only to have 50 to 100 other people, they'd stop commenting, start arguing both sides of the point. But, even though it was a little bit shady and that's what they did, it was true discourse and two different ends of two different sides of the coin in the conversation. You do have to manually do engagement for things to work. Unless you've figured it out and you're ahead of the algorithm gods and you're beating them, you won't beat them forever. And it's not worth working with an account that has 3 million followers or your own personal account. For example, I've got 50,000 followers on TikTok, and it would really suck if I lost it all because I decided to take a shortcut. That only saved me an hour or so a week. So engagement can go a long way. And I think the most genuine of accounts realize that they're built off of genuine engagement and community, which you can't do in a fake way. You can spot it from a mile away. And so, unless AI becomes so good, I can recreate the Jordan Hicks personality and I say, hey, here are my working hours. I want you to do this 5 times a day, but they'll figure it out. They'll stop you some way. So to me, it's not worth 4 years, 4 or 5 years building an account. Some companies have been around 20 years. What if they get banned? Like, you can get sued. So it's like, let's just play things the right way, do things the right way, but you have to do it manually. And that's what the social media companies want. That's usually what your clients want. At the end of the day, it's the marketer, and you have to be like, you know what, this is the part of the job that's hard, and this is why I'm here, and this is why I do it, and I'm just going to do it because it's the right way to do it.
Are you tired of constantly churning out new content? Do you want to reach a wider audience and increase engagement without spending hours in creating new content? Look no further than repurpose.io, the ultimate tool for content repurposing. With repurpose.io, you can easily turn your existing content to new content, like videos, podcasts, social media posts, and more. You'll save time, reduce stress, and reach a wider audience. And we're offering a free 14-day trial of repurpose.io just for you. This is the perfect opportunity to test it out and see the results for yourself. You'll have access to all the full features of repurpose.io for 14 days. Just visit repurpose.io/free. Again, repurpose.io/free. Don't miss out on the chance to revolutionize the way you repurpose your content. Try it today. I think with all the automation and the artificial intelligence, we will be tempted to just automate practically everything. But the reality is, folks, you cannot automate everything. In fact, you cannot automate humanity. We can get, you can get one or two things, probably not in its entirety. You still need human beings as well. And the human connection and the human collaboration is still there. These are tools, and it's not just to make our lives easier and our work easier, but hoping that if we spend less on the mundane and focus more on the one-on-one things in our business, then that gives us more integrity with our business. I think that's a great thing to talk about, right? When it talks about automation and AI, is to make sure that you don't sacrifice your humanity for the sake of automation and AI. And there's always that line. Just the other day, I was watching this video, and he was saying, as much as I want to automate everything, I cannot automate conversations with clients. I cannot automate meetings with people and their needs. So not everything can be automated, guys.
That personal touch is huge. We've talked really about digital stuff, digital marketing, but a lot of the people I've worked with, it was the phone calls or it was the references from the people I met up with in person. It was the hey, I showed up and I was at your event and filmed a video, or I met your family. And you don't even have to be it sounds silly, but you don't have to be the best. You don't have to be the most efficient, but people really enjoy genuine, and in someone who wants to work with them and cares about their business or their mission essentially. So that human side's huge, and like you said, it's something that you won't be able to replace hopefully ever. So and it's something that I've really appreciated about the marketing side is how often it connects me with different people from all over the world, and it's just been a really fun experience for me.
So for those who are listening, yes, we've talked about automation. There's plenty of tools out there that can help you become more efficient with your systems. There is artificial intelligence tools, not just Chat GPT. There are plenty of those that are, and some of them are very niche. I mean, they're just focusing on one particular task using artificial intelligence. There's plenty of that, and there's still more being born every single day. But if there's anything we cannot automate, if there is anything that should not be artificial, it is the human touch, the human level. And I think like what I mentioned earlier, Jordan was saying something about surrounding yourself with good people and you will do great things. He didn't say something, about surrounding yourself with good tools. I mean, it can help you great things, but it's still about people. It's still about heart. It's still about will. It's still about people who want to be with you and to go to business with you. It's not the AI teaching that to them. It's someone with a human brain and a heart who will sign the checks for your brand, right? So those are the three things that we're talking about. So again, just to recap the benefits and downsides of automation. We talked about that. Number two, the how to use AI effectively. And number three, different ways to manually reach your goals. There's always space for manual work. We still gotta do some hard labor, so to speak.
For
And
sure.
sometimes that's the one, and sometimes most of the time that's the one that closes the deal. The tools bring us to the lead, brings us to get our foot in the door, but it's the human element that closes the deal. So Jordan, what we've talked about is so interesting, and we want to thank you for your input. I'm sure a lot of people are just learning from this. But as a call to action, because we have listened to this, what do we do next? What would be now the first thing that we should do after we press pause or stop with this episode?
Yeah, if you're looking to be an entrepreneur and like I said, content creation or anywhere in marketing, you don't have to have your 5-year plan set up. Still don't. I have kind of an idea, but it's just take those first steps. I'm gonna take something small. Use your own account. Don't put yourself out there. It's okay to be that guy who, if you write your own music, produce it, put it out there. Like there's only one way to get better in that sense. And as a marketer, you just do. It's just start. That's the biggest thing. Don't be afraid to do it and continue. The consistency part is the biggest thing. We're on a podcast now, and I think they said 99% of podcasts don't make it past their 20th episode, which is insane. If you get to your 21st episode, you're already in the 1% of all podcasts ever created. And yeah, so we're doing great. And it's very similar with content creation. You don't have to post daily, but find a cadence that's comfortable for you. It gets easier. So your first 10, 20 videos or your 10, 20 projects or whatever you decide to do are going to be like the hardest, most difficult things ever. I felt the same way with stuff that I did. Now I can show up to a shoot 10 minutes early and feel comfortable setting up my rig and filming, very comfortable, not nervous, knowing that, hey, I did this correctly. I know how I'm going to edit it and offload it when I get home. But it didn't get that way till very long into the business. I was fumbling around with stuff for the longest time. I wasn't sure how things worked. It's through the consistency. And you're going to want to stop and you're going to say, this isn't for me, or I'm not as good as X person, or that person who started a month ago has 100,000 followers and I have 7. What's the deal? The real end goal is just to enjoy what you do. And people won't like what you do unless you enjoy it anyways. And you won't learn how to get better unless you enjoy it. So just do it. Don't stop. Keep doing it. Don't be too hard on yourself. There's people sitting around not doing anything. It's like going to the gym. Nobody can make fun of you for going to the gym, even if you're out of shape. There's a billion people sitting on a couch eating Pringles. No offense to Pringles. I would still be open to a brand deal. Sorry, Pringles.
Same here. I love Pringles. Sour cream.
Yep, same.
There we go. It's 2 for 1. 2 for 1. Content creator, marketing manager, Jordan Higgs. Thank you so much for being with us on this episode. We're going to put all the links, and he's got a lot of links. He's everywhere. So we're going to put it on this episode on the show notes and also on the video and everywhere you have repurpose.io. So go ahead, get in touch with him and see how it is to work with one of the best in the industry. Again, Jordan, thank you so much for your time. to be part of Content Marketing Insider.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
And that is the end of our episode, but not for you, because this might actually be the beginning of greater things. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Content Marketing Insider powered by Repurpose na Tayo. I'm your host, Roy Garcia, and we'll see you again next time.